Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where every single Friday I, Graham G.S. Matthews, run down my rambling wrestling thoughts, share a few stories, etc., etc. And in case you've been living under a rock for the past couple days, you would know that Kurt Angle is WWE Hall of Fame bound this April. Cannot wait for it. It's going to be great. Or technically March, because he goes in on March 31st, the Friday, because they moved the Hall of Fame from Saturday to Friday this year, whatever. But it's big news. It's been a crazy fucking week in wrestling from the UK tournament about a week ago. We had Jimmy Snuka pass away on Sunday, that same day as the day 2 of the UK tournament. We had Kurt Angle's big announcement on Monday. Mickey James returned on SmackDown on Tuesday. So it's been a wild week, an exciting week in the world of wrestling, up and down. But I expect nothing less from the world of wrestling, and this was just insane. So great stuff. Really looking forward to that. I figured it would be only fitting if today I ran down my top 5 favorite Kurt Angle matches from WWE and TNA. I'm sure there's many, many more. Kurt Angle is widely regarded, and I can't disagree with this, as one of the greatest in-ring wrestlers and performers in WWE history and wrestling history. So there's a lot of matches to choose from, and you got to keep in mind, too, that I was not around at all for his WWE run. As you guys probably know by this point, after me saying it multiple times in the past, I started watching WWE in 2008. So I saw pretty much almost all of Kurt Angle's TNA run up until he left at the onset of 2016. But a majority of the matches on this list are WWE, from WWE, just from watching his matches on the network and whatnot. And there's a couple other matches I did not put on the list that I probably should have. I'll talk about those honorable mentions at the end here. And there's one match I want to switch out here for another one. Coming in at number 5, Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio. I had a different number 5, which I'll talk about in a second, but now that it just came to mind, because there's so many great fucking Kurt Angle matches, it's hard to name all my favorites. But coming in at number 5 from SummerSlam 2002, Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio. And that match, that whole show is absolutely incredible, but that match is just so much fun. I think it was one of Rey Mysterio's first few matches in WWE. He had only debuted in the company a month prior. They gave him a high-profile opponent, of course, for SummerSlam a mere month later against Kurt Angle in the opener of such an amazing show, in my opinion. One of, if not the single greatest SummerSlam pay-per-view of all time, from start to finish, especially from an in-ring standpoint. Such a fun match. Kurt Angle emerged victorious. Rey Mysterio lost nothing in defeat. And their WrestleMania 22 match, I did not put that match on the list, between him, Ray, and Randy Orton. It was a 10-minute long match, but we just watched it the other day, John and I, back at his place. So much fucking fun. That match is so great, too. I might have ranked that higher had it been, longer. I don't really care too much for WrestleMania 22. But that is a great match, though, so I do want to bring that up at number 5. And the original number 5 that I have here for my favorite top 5 Kurt Angle matches, I'll mention at the end. Coming in at number 4 is from No Mercy 2002. One of the greatest tag team matches I think I have ever seen. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit taking on Edge and Rey Mysterio in the finals of the WWE Tag Team Title Tournament to crown the inaugural WWE Tag Team Champions. And of course, we had the World Tag Team titles before that. But when the brand split was initiated, we had 2 sets of tag titles, and SmackDown created their own twin titles following the brand split, and it came down to 2 teams in the end. It was Kurt Angle and Benoit, who had been feuding prior to this point, had an amazing match at Unforgiven, I think, the month prior, and then faced off, then teamed up, put their differences aside in the tag team title tournament to take on Edge and Rey Mysterio, who I believe were the inaugural champions. I'm pretty sure Edge and Rey won. And then Angle and Benoit later won the championships on like SmackDown or something. I'm a little bit off in terms of my timeline. Or maybe it was Benoit and Angle. I forgot. But all I do remember is that the match itself was just amazing. I mean, you look at who's involved, and it really is no surprise. I mean, you have 4 of the greatest in-ring workers / characters in the past 15, 20 years in Angle, Benoit, Rey Mysterio, and Edge. And this was really kind of the start of the SmackDown 6, also involving Los Guerreros, having a great 6-man, or rather triple threat tag team match, involving those 6 superstars at Survivor Series the following month. But a really, really fun match. I think I first watched it. Someone recommended it to me on Twitter about 4 or 5 years ago. And I saw it on like Daily Motion or something. And it was a lot of fucking fun. And I watched it back after that when I rewatched No Mercy 02 for WrestleRant about a year and a half ago, which was also a lot of fun. So check it out if you haven't already seen it. Coming in at number 3 is also involving Chris Benoit from the Royal Rumble, as we are in the Royal Rumble mood right now as we quickly approach the 30th installment of the pay-per-view. From the Royal Rumble 2003, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit for the WWE Championship. A match I think is maybe not underrated, because I think people who have seen the match know how fucking great it is. But I think it kind of gets lost in the shuffle in the year that was '03 for Kurt Angle, which was largely dominated by his feud with Brock Lesnar, and those two had some amazing matches. But I think the match with Benoit was maybe not even as good, but if not better, because these two had amazing chemistry. I just talked about it, how they had a great match at Unforgiven a couple months earlier, Unforgiven 2002, and then Kurt Angle later became the WWE champion at Armageddon by beating The Big Show, had his first title defense against a longtime rival in Chris Benoit. After they feuded, I think it also in 2001, they had a match at WrestleMania 17 too, so a long-running rivalry culminated at the Rumble for the WWE title. Just an incredible match, involvement from Team Angle, Shelton Benjamin, and Charlie Haas, the world's greatest tag team. Just a really, really, really fun match. In the end, Kurt Angle emerged victorious and retained his title to maintain and remain the WWE champion. So, a lot of fun. And you talk about Royal Rumble pay-per-views and how the Rumble match kind of sells people on the show, which is true, and how the title matches don't normally matter. I would put this up there with the recent triple threat from 2015 with Lesnar, Cena, and Rollins as one of the greatest non-Rumble matches at a Rumble pay-per-view since the inception of the pay-per-view back in 98. 97, whatever, 98. So just a lot of fun, and one of the best matches of all time between Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. One of the greatest matches in their long-running series from '01 to 2003. Coming in at number 2 is a TNA match. And I was trying to rack my brain of great, like, not great, because Kurt Angle had a lot of amazing matches. And he just said, I just rewatched it, like, earlier today. I watched it for the first time. His interview on ESPN from last night, I watched the highlights, and he said he was in the prime of his career when he left WWE and was in TNA, which is, you can't really argue with that because he had some amazing matches in TNA, especially early on with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, even Mr. Anderson, who is an amazing character. I'm a big Mr. Anderson fan, but he was never a great wrestler. So the fact that Kurt Angle got a great series of matches out of him, especially at Lockdown 2010, is really a testament to how good Kurt Angle is. The matches he had with Nigel McGuinness / Desmond Wolfe back in late 2009 were also really, really good. Matches in recent years, the matches with Bobby Roode I enjoyed. Matches with Bobby Lashley, those two had very good chemistry. I don't think they had faced off prior to their in-ring clash. I think in early 2016 or 2015. But they had some really, really good matches, and they were both great. So Kurt Angle, that's when he re-won his latest TNA championship back in early 2015. The matches he had with Ethan Carter III were really good. Drew Galloway just last year, James Storm I really enjoyed, but I would, hands down, my favorite TNA match from Kurt Angle came at Slammiversary 2012, and I think I mentioned this match. I feel like I've talked about this before. Oh, I did, when I made my list about a year ago on nextdaywrestling.net of my favorite AJ Styles matches of all time from TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, right around the time he had debuted in WWE. And this went down, maybe, I don't know if it was number 1, but it was certainly up there as one of my favorite TNA matches of all time. Like I said, it's from Slammiversary 2012. It was Kurt Angle teaming up with his longtime rival AJ Styles. They were fresh off another series of matches on TV, I think of the Sacrifice pay-per-view. They teamed up for a common cause to take the World Tag Team titles from The Addiction, from, I think, Bad Influence was their name at the time, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. And you put 4 amazing workers in one match. What else do you expect from 4 of the greatest workers in TNA history? Just a really, really, really fun tag team match. Angle always worked well with partners, whether it be, like I said, Chris Benoit, AJ Styles, or whoever. He was an amazing tag team wrestler, as good as he was a singles guy. And again, not really much of a build other than the fact that AJ had been feuding with Daniel specifically and Kazarian for about a year at that point. So for that rivalry to kind of culminate, not really, they would continue the feud in the remainder of the year, but Angle and AJ were a tremendous team. They had a lot of great matches in 2012 in TNA, which, in my opinion, when TNA was at its peak in the last decade or so, I'm not talking about like 05, 04, but TNA was awesome all year round in 2012, and this was one of the many reasons why, was the makeshift tag team of Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. That whole pay-per-view was a lot of fun. I just rewatched it, I think, over the summer on like maybe the 3 or 4 year anniversary or whatever. Just like last year, and it was a lot of fun to watch back. And I think it's also on the AJ Styles DVD I own too. But those two just had some amazing matches. Those 4 had some amazing matches together, but specifically the team of Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. And in the end, it was Angle and AJ coming out on top as the new World Tag Team Champions. So again, great match. It was one of those matches by the time I just remember watching it live watching that show live and remember saying to myself after it, holy shit, that was one of my favorite tag team matches of all time. That was fucking fun. That was just a lot of fun. So that's number 2. And number 1 should not come as really any surprise. I know I left a few matches off, which I'll talk about in a moment, in the honorable mentions. But number 1, from WrestleMania 21, Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. Again, another event I wasn't a fan for at the time. Not a fan of, a fan for. Again, like I said, I started watching in 08, so I was not around for 2005 WWE, for WrestleMania 21, or for this feud. And that's one of the many things I regret, just because this feud is just so much fun. For the many things I regret in wrestling not having been around for, this is one of them. This Angle-Shawn Michaels feud between a Raw and a SmackDown guy went a lot deeper than that, and I apologize. My phone just went off. RJ, thanks for texting me if you're watching this right now. I just got a ha from Mr. Marceau. I owe all you guys a soda now because my phone interrupted the video. But at any rate, like I said, these guys just had a tremendous feud, but it went far beyond being a Raw guy versus a SmackDown guy. It was just, again, it went back way further than that, to when Kurt Angle arrived in WWE in 1999 and people were comparing him to Shawn Michaels. Or when he won his Olympic gold in 1996 and he said the only thing people were talking about was when Shawn Michaels became WWE champion for the first time at WrestleMania 12. And the story dating back almost a decade at that point was so decorated. And up to this point, for the 4 years, or really 6 years that Angle had been in WWE, in the 3 years that Michaels had been back in the ring after coming back at SummerSlam 02, the aforementioned event from Angle and Mysterio, him and Angle had never crossed paths, at least in a one-on-one environment. So for them to finally go one-on-one, and Angle just talked about it, like I said in that previous aforementioned interview that I said before with ESPN from last night, he did say that when Angle and Michaels went one-on-one, that was the first time they'd ever faced off in singles competition. Especially on TV. I don't know about house shows and shit, but I don't even think so, because it was a Raw and a SmackDown guy, so I don't think they would have had even a house show match at that point. But for a first time ever encounter, it was pretty fucking phenomenal. All due respect to AJ Styles, but this match, in my opinion, still to this day, one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. I did that whole WrestleMania Recall series about a year ago, early 2016, and I think this was, I don't know if it was number 1, but I'm pretty sure it was I know for a fact it was my top 5. Just the match is just so much fun, and I know I made up my own little finish for the match that Mr. Marceau knows himself. I've recreated it many times for him, but the match, just the finish, the storytelling, the in-ring action, the chemistry, just everything about it was so fucking great, and people don't even remember the matches they had after that. At Vengeance, when Shawn Michaels avenged the loss, and that awesome Iron Man match on Raw, again, a lot of fun. Oh man, just a lot of good shit. A lot of good shit between all those guys involved. That was just a lot of fun from I think it was Raw Homecoming. But yeah, just my favorite by far Angle match of all time. A match I wasn't even around for, but that really is a testament to how good Kurt Angle is. I've met Kurt Angle before. I'll probably talk about that in a future video blog. I've met him. He follows me on Twitter. He followed me on my birthday 5 years ago. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time. The guy is just fucking amazing, and I could not be more psyched. He's headed into the WWE Hall of Fame this March WrestleMania weekend. So that's my list, guys. Again, you can't really go wrong. I forgot to mention my original 5 match here. My original number 5 match was him and Angle. Or Angle and Angle, I wish. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar from WrestleMania 19. Another great match. Him and Taker, I did watch about a year ago when I was reviewing the No Way Out shows for WrestleRant. I just know it was an amazing match. I don't know if I can call it my favorite, though, because I don't really remember much about it in terms of what happened. But I just know it was a great match. After having heard about it and after having seen it myself, I just know it was a terrific match. But yeah, that's certainly among the honorable mentions. Him and Taker, him and Lesnar, him and Edge, the matches they had in 02, him and Eddie from 04. A lot of the matches that Kurt Angle had throughout his entire WWE run, and even in TNA, like I said, the matches they had with Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, James Storm, AJ Styles, one-on-one, were all phenomenal. So I can't wait for the Kurt Angle compilation DVD to come out from WWE. That should be great, and the TNA to follow suit with their own Kurt Angle DVD, which you would think they would have come out with already, but I don't think they did. I don't really know, but anyway, guys, that's my top 5 matches. Once again, quick recap of my top 5 favorite Kurt Angle matches from WWE and TNA. Number 5, him and Rey Mysterio from SummerSlam 2002. Number 4, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit versus Rey Mysterio and Edge for the WWE Tag Team titles from No Mercy 2002 as well. Number 3, Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit from WrestleMania, or rather the Royal Rumble 2003 for the WWE Championship. Number 2, Kurt Angle and AJ Styles versus Bad Influence / The Addiction / Christopher Daniels and Kazarian for the TNA World Tag Team titles from Slammiversary 2002. And number 1, Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 2001. Or 21, not 2001, 2005, but WrestleMania 21. So that's my list, guys. Would love to know what your top 5, top 7, top 10 favorite Kurt Angle matches are from, from WWE, TNA, the indie scene. I know he's been having matches in WCPW or whatever it's called, and on the indie scene, Northeast Wrestling in the past year, and he's had some great matches there with Cody Rhodes, Drew Galloway, Zack Sabre Jr., and the list goes on and on. So that's my list, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back next week with another random video blog. What it's going to be about, I have no idea. I'll be back in school at that point. I might pre-record something to have it be put up on Friday, and it might be filmed here, or I'll film it there next week. Who knows? Depends on what my schedule is. I don't even really remember. I made it like fucking 3 months ago, so... Anyway, guys, bottom line, I'm fucking pumped for Kurt Angle to head into the WWE Hall of Fame. Hopefully you guys are as well. I'm going to be fucking freaking out, baby. You should have seen the window I broke that I jumped through on Monday when I heard the news. Not really, but I almost did. I was that excited. So, yeah, looking forward to it, guys. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All that support is amazingly appreciated. Have an awesome week, and I'll catch you guys down the road. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.